Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on Hey guys, welcome back. We're working on the Cavalry Sabre here again. This is part 21 of working on this thing. We're on the home stretch now. We're so freaking close. At this point, today what we'll be working on is mostly guard work. If we have time, I'll move on to doing a little bit of handle work, but we're just going to push through and get this thing finished up. We're so freaking close. I've got just most of the cleanup work left to do, getting the scratches where I want them on the guard. So thanks for joining us. Let's jump right in. So I've got this pretty much there. I just worked on the underside of the guard a bit just to make it a little bit nicer. It was pretty rough under there, so I just took off the sharp edges under there and then went back through with some rubberized abrasives and Scotch-Brite wheels and stuff all on that little micro motor. So now what is time to do is to bend this guard into the final shape. Right now it stops a little bit short of where it should be. The finial is going to end up being about right there or so. And so there's a couple things that I need to do. I need to lengthen it out, and then I need to bend it out so that we're going to get it to end in the exact right place and still have some good flow to it. So I'm going to head on over to the anvil and whack on it a little bit and then keep on checking the fit. The other thing that I need to do is probably about halfway through that process, I'm probably going to have to anneal it again. So just to make sure that I'm not going to be, breaking it after putting like 8 years of work into this thing, because that would not be super fun. Oh, we're almost there. Okie doke, guys, so I just bent the guard a little bit and was getting pretty close to where I thought it needed to be. And then I went ahead and looked at the original drawing, and, well, there's no easy way to say this, but we're short. The material there is simply not long enough right now to get to the desired shape. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. The plan was to do something similar to that. So what I need to do now is take this over to the anvil again, and rather than whacking on it with a piece of wood, I need to actually cold forge out that little very end of the guard there to get some length, some more length out of it. I'm going to anneal it first with the oxypropane torch, then we will do some cold forging on it. I don't think you want to hot forge this stuff. I think it would crumble if we tried to do that, so heat it up to red hot, let it cool back down, and then we'll start whacking on it. Okay, so we whacked on this a pretty good amount. We annealed it twice. Time to go back and see if we actually did anything. So that's quite a bit better. At this point, we're actually, I think, a little bit too far. So we can have this part in here be a little bit more rounded and coming in a little bit more aggressive angle right here. And that is a lot more similar to how we had it in the original drawing, which is very good. So it's time to move on to the actual cleanup of this part of the guard now. I do have a little bit more carving to do because these, the end points of these carvings right here are going to flow down almost all the way down the guard like they did on the wax. So time to move on to that, get this thing cleaned up from that cold forging. We're getting there. Oh boy. As you guys have seen me working on this, I went through and I finished out both finials and got them sanded up, and then I buffed them and Scotch-Brighted them, and they looked really, really nice. I ended up marking them up a little bit, and I will continue to do so until we're doing the final finish of this sword. After that, I filed on the handle a little bit, smoothed everything out there, and then I moved on to starting to fit up the guard a little bit better. Now it already had the rough fit done, but I want to get it perfect. I'll probably spend a couple hours slightly painting over the edges, just closing in that gap until you can't see any line around it, which it's difficult to do, but it's well worth the time investment because it makes the piece look a heck of a lot better. So I'm going to continue working on that. I actually need to do a little bit of peening right now because there are a couple areas where I'm over, specifically the very edges. So we're going to drive it on pretty hard. That gap on the sides is pretty much gone. A little bit up near the front that we need to take care of. Oh man, we're getting quite a bit of contact on there. That's good. Very good. But we need to sink it down even deeper. So as you guys saw, I started to work around this little plateau on the underside of the guard there, just working down that material so that it fits the handle a lot better. However, we still need to get that handle fit up to the point where we're getting contact all the way around. Right now, we're only getting contact in one corner. So we know that this is flat, that little plateau is flat, because I flattened it off on the disc sander. Unfortunately, I don't think it is completely square to everything else, and so I'm going to end up taking a little bit of material off of here. I'm just going to go onto the disc sander and flatten this down, starting in that corner that I have marked out. I'm going to go ahead and do that, see if we can get that fit up a little bit better, and then that'll allow us to move on and start working on the end of that long finial right here to get it to contact at the pommel, but we need to have that be in the exact right spot first, which means that needs to be completely fit up. So what we need to work on now that we've got a pretty good fit up on most things, I was thinking about the transition of where the flutes of the handle are going to intersect with the pommel, because that's kind of a weird area. It's going to be kind of difficult to make that look good. And so the first thing that I need to do before I move on to, I think I might even try doing a little test piece to see how I can make those flutes terminate well. What I need to do is I'm going to take some of this string and I'm going to wrap it around and adjust it so that, and then I can trace that line on there. And so the flutes will start off fairly tight here. They'll be the loosest in this area, and then they'll tighten back up. So it's not quite the exact same size flute all the way along. They'll be widening and thinning out along the way. And so having a piece of string there means that I can adjust it and stuff like that to get it exactly where I want it. Now I think I'm going to have that first flute start at the kind of back right corner, and I'll pin it down with this handle material, and then I'll just start wrapping it. So that's pretty dang good. Okay, so I think I've got this just about where I want it. Most of the angles are fairly similar, so I'm going to go ahead and trace on this line with a pencil. Wow, this is not terribly easy. Okay, so we got those lines traced on there, looking good. So the areas that I'm really worried about are right here, right there, and right here. Basically, I think it's going to be pretty challenging to get the flutes to look really good the way that they intersect with the pommel and with that recession that's in there. So I'm just going to have a think. I'll probably do some sketches. I'll probably draw on the handle itself a little bit and just try to figure out exactly how we want to tackle this to make it look as good as possible. So after having a good think about it, trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do, I think that this recession is deep enough that I'll just be able to carve straight through it and not really have to worry too much about exactly what's going on at the end of that transition. I'll just round it. I'll be heirlooming these ridges in here as well. So for now, we're going to jump into carving in those flutes with a big triangle file, getting them roughed out before we move on to other methods of cleaning and rounding and stuff like that. Okay guys, we've got the Michelin Man handle pretty much rough shaped at this point. It's up to 220 grit with the wet dry sandpaper. We've got all of our flutes carved in. We're gonna end it there for today. Next episode, we'll be moving on to doing some more final fit up stuff, mostly the way that the pommel interacts with the handle material, but we're gonna have to wait till next time for that one. So thanks for following along. Make sure to check out some fantastic merch here. Believe it or not, it looks kind of like this thing that I've been working on. So go check that out, alecsteelshop.com. And thanks for following along. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bye. It's not a phone call.